Okay. Okay. Hi, everyone. My name is Ariana Galvez, and I work with Illinois Student Assistance Commission. And I graduated from Bradley University in May of 2022.
Hi everyone, my name is Daisy Valdez, and I also work for the Illinois Student Assistance Commission. I graduated UIC, which is the University of Illinois at Chicago, in 2022.
Yeah.
Yeah, go
So
ahead.
thanks for joining our live stream and our Going to College series. Today we're going to talk about how to keep sane. So basically how to balance school, work, and your family. So Daisy, do you want to start?
To start off, I want to talk about work. So when I started, even in high school, I started working at age 18. So once I could, I did. At times in college, I was managing 1 to 2 jobs while going to school full time. So what I do recommend is having school as your priority. I know sometimes when you start working, the money could be intriguing and you just want to keep on working, but school comes first. And what I did was communicate with my boss and my other jobs because um, it's hard at times during school, like midterms or whatever, to keep up with both. So keep that communication open between you and your boss, you and your professor as well, to just make sure you're going on the right track in college.
Yeah, so kind of like what Daisy was talking about. When I was in college, I worked 2 jobs as well. So like, but always just remember that you're in college, you're in school, and you're there to get that degree. So that should always be your first priority. And especially when you're a first year student, or if you're a first generation student. I know I was a first generation student, so I would recommend not to take on too much, especially like your first semester. I wouldn't recommend working too much because it's a new environment. You're not really, you don't know what you're getting into until you're there. So I would like really recommend like going easy on yourself, especially that first semester, that first year. Just making sure that you're prioritizing school specifically in that first semester. And then once you're like, okay, you know what, I can handle, like I was able to handle taking this many classes, I think I can do a part-time job. I know I had actually a work study job. So basically, work study is a federal program where students can get a job on campus and they'll get paid at least the federal minimum wage. My school paid me a little bit more than the federal minimum wage. And I would recommend, if you're able to, definitely try and get a work study job, or even if it's not work study, try and getting a job on your campus. Because when you get a job on campus, your managers and the people that you work for, whether it be like the library, the gym, I know I worked in the admissions office, so they're a lot more lenient to your job and your schedule because obviously they know that you're a student first. So I know my bosses, they would only let us work a certain amount of hours so that we wouldn't be doing too much at work and like forgetting about school. And I know that really helped me. Or if I had like an exam or a study session, my boss was totally okay with me not going to work that evening and going to study. So that was really helpful. And I know I also had a job off campus, and on that off campus job, I communicated with my employer that I was a student, and that that was my first priority. So they knew right from the beginning that I was in school, and my employer was really great and understanding that I had to focus on school. So like when I would tell them like during finals or midterms, I would tell them like, hey, I'm kind of busy, like I have a lot of exams this week. Can you maybe not schedule with me as much? Like I'm not, my availability is not the same right now. So my employer would do a really good job with understanding that.
Yeah, I totally agree. I also recommend first figuring out, well, what she said too, figuring out everything with school. So, any clubs you want to join, any um, sports, have that, know how much time that will take up and how much work will take up. Because I do wish I did get involved more in my school. Since my school is a commuter school, known for commuter school, so I would just go and then leave, and I wouldn't stay like to see any sports or anything like that, which I wish I did. So recommend doing that.
Yeah, so I didn't go to a commuter school. I stayed on campus, in the dorms. So I was also really involved in like a lot of different organizations. And I also recommend that like just join organizations that sound fun. Schools have so many organizations. So I really recommend you do that and get involved because then you can make friends. And like build the community. And I know that when I was in school and I was struggling with like midterms or finals, what helped me the most get through it was my community and just having my friends like sitting together at the library, studying and like motivating each other to finish our papers or study for our exams. That was what really helped me. And I was also very organized, so I used a planner and a Google Calendar. And that's really how I was able to manage my time and keep sane. Because on my Google Calendar, like I would even like block out like 2 hours and I would just have like me time. So I wouldn't do anything. I would just go to my room, relax, like not really be on my phone, not work, not do any homework, and I would just let myself like decompress from the week or the day. Especially if I knew that I was gonna have a lot of things going on that week, I would make sure to schedule that time for me to just be be by myself and be able to relax and not worry about everything else that I had going on. So having a Google Calendar and like having it organized really helped me. And also having my planner so that I wouldn't forget what assignments I had to do that week, or if I had any exams, or like if I had to go to like study sessions, is what really helped me.
Yeah, and talking about planners and everything, so sometimes for people, computers isn't their strong suit or whatever. So they prefer writing it. So it's just depending on the people, on the person. If they prefer doing it on the computer, planning their day, planning their week, or um, doing it on paper. And moving on to class and like school, managing that. So try not, since it's your first year or first semester, try not to take on too many classes. You could register for classes. There is an add and drop period, which I think is around 2 weeks. And that's just to see what classes you like, which ones you didn't, so you could add and drop without it affecting you. So I recommend really looking into the classes, looking at the syllabus that first week, make sure you're able to handle that workload. That those 2 weeks really helped me. I was adding and dropping classes, seeing which one I prefer. So yeah, that helped me. Also, if you took any AP classes or anything like that in high school. Um, some of those credits pass on if you do pass the exam or get a certain grade on it. They do transfer over for your college. So I didn't realize that until I think third year, and that's when I transferred them. Some of those hours, and I was able to take a easier class workload in my junior year because I didn't have to take that one class, and I was able to take 4 classes, and easier for me. So I'll look into that too.
Yeah, Daisy touched on a really good point. So if you have like transfer credits or transfer courses, definitely take advantage of those. I know I took AP classes, and I took a few of them. So there were some semesters where I was able to relax a little, and not have to carry as much. So I always recommend take like 12 to 15 credit hours, specifically your first semester, first year, just again to adapt to that new environment and like understand really like what worked in high school might not work in college just because it's a very different class load, a very different environment. So don't take on too much. And with that, like I know family is also really important. And like making sure that they're understanding you. So like when it comes to family, I really recommend to just be honest with them about what you have going on and like the assignment or like extracurriculars that you have to do. So I know like my junior year of college, I had to write a 25-page research paper. And like every time my parents would call me, like they would ask me what I was doing, and I was telling them I was writing this research paper. Um, And then I kept telling them that a few times, and they kept asking me like why I was working on a paper for so long. And I finally told them it was 25 pages, so that they kind of like relaxed on calling me and like understood that I was busy. So they were like, "Oh, okay, like you have a lot going on right now, so just you text us when you're available." So just like be honest with them. Tell them, even if I know I was first gen, so my parents didn't fully understand what I was doing in school, but like just telling them like, hey, I have a lot of class work to do. I have a lot of exams this week. That they really like knew like, okay, well she has a lot of exams. Like we're gonna give her time to herself. Yeah.
Yeah. So, as I said, I was a commuter. So sometimes at home, I had a I have a stay-at-home mom. So she was always there. My sisters, my younger siblings were there, and sometimes the house was too loud for me to study. So, I do recommend, if that is the case for you, sometimes then have a place where you are able to study and read or do whatever you need, whether it's a library near you or the school library. When right after you take classes, stay for a bit, which was something I did when I knew that everyone was going to be home and loud. So I do recommend that. And family is really important to me. So I did set time aside for them. So like every Sunday, I would um, gather with my family, my uncles and aunts, and we would just just relax at their house. It was something that really de-stressed me, because especially during midterms, finals, times that are hard, you need time for yourself, time to just breathe and not worry about school. So yeah, not healthy having just in your mind school and work. You have to have time for yourself, your family, your friends, and have those people that support you around you.
Yeah. So like Daisy said, I think it's really important to remember like college is 4 years and it's really stressful sometimes, but it's also a really great time and a really great opportunity for you to like explore different interests. So just also don't forget to enjoy yourselves. I met like all of my best friends in college, and I went to a school that was like 3.5 hours away from me, so I didn't have my family there physically with me. So that's why it was so important for me to get involved and get my own community and like my chosen family. Because when I was really struggling in school, I knew that I can count on my friends to help me and to be there for me. And just like being able to hang out with them, and even if it was like little things like just hanging out at like the library or a coffee shop, it just made like the experience so much better, and it really helped me deal with all the stress that I had going on from classes or like work and everything. So just make sure to enjoy yourself and have fun, because it's only college is such a short period of your life, but it can be really great and very memorable. I know it was for me, and I'm really grateful for my college experience.
Yep. So am I. And I think any more to
Mm,
add?
no, I think that's pretty much everything that we have. So yeah. So just remember to enjoy yourself. Remember you're at school. Um, to graduate, that should always be the first
Yeah.
priority. I know that's what I would always tell like all my friends who are a little bit younger. Don't be afraid to say no to things. Like I know sometimes it could sound like really fun to like go out and do something, but just make sure that you're getting your work done and you're prioritizing that and
Yeah.
prioritizing yourself and your mental health.
Yeah, and don't be afraid to ask professors. I'm not sure if I touched up on that, but if you need extensions, if you need more time for anything, most of them should be pretty lenient. And just communicate before the due date of any paper you need extension on. Just, yeah, communication is key.
Yeah, that was a really good point that I forgot.
Yeah.
Really be open with your professors of what you have going on too. I know my senior year I had a lot of family emergencies that I had to do, so I would tell my professors, I would email them or tell them in person what I had going on, and they would be very understanding and would give me extensions, or would just say, okay, don't worry about this right now. You can focus on that when you get back. So communicate with your professors, because they're there to help you and they're there to make sure that you're successful. So never be afraid to ask any questions.
Yeah. Or go to office hours
Mhm.
if they have any. They're, as she said, there to help you. So
Yeah.
they're one of your resources.
Yeah. Make sure you utilize all your resources that your school has, whether that's like the counseling center, the tutoring center, office hours, financial aid office. So yeah, just make sure that you get the most out of your school.
Yep.
I think that's all that we had. So hopefully
Yeah.
you guys learned something. And so bye.